The agronomy department for the co-op here. On behalf of the Garden City Co-op, I'd like you to welcome to the DeKalb Plot Days. I'd like to make a few introductions. We have Logan Dreiling here, seed sales for the co-op. We have David Chirk, seed sales for the co-op. Our seed lead, Brian Reporter, couldn't make it tonight. Also have Kyle Korf here, one of the agronomy salesmen. Danny Titus back there. We also have Michael Kemke, the accounts manager for the co-op. We also have with us Chris Urban from Monsanto. He'll be doing most part of the presentation with Logan. We also have Terry Barton from Monsanto. I think he's an intern with you.
Yeah, he's a trainee for the summer, Tim. Appreciate it. On behalf of Asgrow, DeKalb, and Garden City Co-op, appreciate you guys all coming in for this evening. A little warmer day than expected, or than I wanted, but got a tent up here to stay in some shade. Thank you for your business in the past, and thank you for the business in the future. I want to hit on the agenda real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to start off, I'll give you kind of a plot layout, what we got cooking here, and then we'll kind of switch gears. Terry's going to come up and talk about our trait packages and rib products that were offered within a DeKalb brand. Then I'll come back up and I'm going to hit on Drought Guard. I'm going to spend a little more time on Drought Guard than I usually can. Kind of touch on that and what it is, and we have some products down the way that we got showcased here for you that we're going to talk about. Then we're going to get up. I'm going to run through. We got 41 varieties to go through. I'm just kidding. I got about 5 to 10 picked out. We're going to hit on real quick, and then we'll come back under the 10 for a wrap up, and then for a steak supper for you guys. A little bit of the layout. So this is Harold Knowles' field, and I want to thank him for that and his boys for putting up with us. There is off to the right, from the center on to the right, we have all our Drought Guard products showcased here, anywhere from 47-day all the way up to 116-day, and then from here to the west we have our first 119-day product, and we go all the way down to 100-day. So this is we put this up for our training materials, 1 for our dealers and 2 for the farmers. So you're the third group we've had in this week. We've had a very good attendance, and it's really nice because it's a spot we can all go in one place, and you can spend as much time or as little time as you want. You can walk through the field. We'd ask for, on Harold's behalf, you don't grab 15 ears of each and check them out, but you're welcome to walk out and look at it. We did have that August 1st hail here, as you guys well are known. So, and that come with that north wind. So, up until about the first 30 foot into the first wheel track, it's beat up a little bit, a little more on this side than when you get in. A couple other thank yous I wanted to say thanks to. The herbicide program here was Balance Flex and Degree Extra up front, followed by Roundup, and I believe a little shot of a Banville product. We did Chemigate, Fertigate, Headline, and Comite on through the pivot. We made a quick pass with it. Thank you, Dan Pianalto, for donating the Balance, and Michael Birch for the Headline. And thanks for Helena for the free application, Garden City Co-op for the use of some of their equipment, and also CPS. So thanks all them. I couldn't have done it without their help. We planted this, I think, August 25th. They are 4 row plots. We dropped 32,500. We put on strip tilt, so this is wheat followed by feed, followed by corn this year, 225 for in, 40 pounds of phos, and some micros. Then we did put 50 pounds through the pivot here right at task time. We will, like I said, when we get up and go through, we'll just hit on a few and talk about the different scenarios that the products are in. So with that, I'm going to turn it over for Terry. I'm going to ask him to talk about the different trait packages.
All right, first off, appreciate you guys coming out today. I know it's kind of hard. You guys get Kansas farmers to get away from the farms, but thanks for coming in today. First off, again, I'm Terry Barton. I'm a trainee. A little different than the intern. I'm on for the long haul. A little bit about myself. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. I went to a small school about an hour east of Houston called Prairie View A&M University. I was up in Indiana for a year, so working with Monsanto. Just to kick it off, all of our hybrids here, we got 41 in the plot. We won't be walking through all 41 today, as Chris said. They're all offered in three basic tray packages. That's our Double Pro, our Triple Pro, and our Smart Stacks. And so for FY 2014, we'll be moving a little away from the Triple Pro, and we'll talk about why now. It basically has to do with the refuge in a bag option. We're going to get more traded product on you guys' farm, the Triple Pro, because of our non-protected, because of our only one mode of action in the Triple Pros for our below ground pest. We just want to make sure that we supplement that with a Smart Stack or Double Pro.
About fourth to the last page of your book is the trade pack, different trade that he's going to go through.
So in our Double Pro, if you turn to the back of the book there, just to follow along, we just have two modes of protection, no ground protection in there. So if you haven't seen any rootworm pressure or anything like that, or you're on heavy rotation, this is probably a product that you'd like to take a look at. We get you two modes of action for corn borer, fall armyworm, and corn earworm. So that's all included there. You don't get any of the black cutworm or western bean cutworm in there. That is included in our big gun, the Smart Stack. So that's what we're moving forward with this year. In this blend, it is a 95-5 blend on the refuge. So you only have 5% traded product out there. Like I told you guys before, you try to move into more traded product on your farm, so more of your farm is protected. Moving on to Smart Stacks. With the Smart Stacks, you get the same protection with the Double Pros, except you get the two modes of action for northern corn rootworm and western corn rootworm. And that's two modes of action, so this kind of helps you guys that see some heavy pressure out there. And I've had a little more pressure than seen before. I'm not sure if that's the neighbor's fault or their fault or whose fault it is, but just in case you're seeing some heavy rootworm pressure out there, I recommend you start looking at this product, our Smart Stacks. It gets you three modes of action for corn earworm and three modes of action for corn borer. So that's something to look at, something to talk about there. You also pick up western bean cutworm and black cutworm with the Smart Stacks hybrid, and it's also a 95-5 blend on the refuge in the bag. And what's convenient about the refuge in the bag is, I think for FY14, Chris's product in this area, and Brian, what they're pushing is about 98% refuge in the bag. So this is the way of the industry. This is where everybody's going for. It's the one bag solution, the only one bag solution on the market. Regardless of what you guys heard out there, we are the only one bag solution. There are a couple other companies out there that advertise it, but you still have to manage your corn borer tray with another mode of action, so that gives you up to 10%. You have to still plant a structural refuge separate from what you're planting in that single bag. So DeKalb has the only single bag solution. You just dump it in the planter and go, and that's what's been very successful with this. Hope you guys try it out. Am I missing anything here, Chris?
I think we're good. Okay, just a couple things to recap is so the Double Pro for your rotated acres, 95-5 blend, one bag solution, 95% traded product, 5% refuge. Okay, we will still have some Triple Pro offerings, and we're going to go through a few of them today. But they will be a 90-10 split on the Triple Pro, and that's all based off the EPA. Okay, one mode of action below ground, so we have to have more refuge for the EPA requirements. Now, VT Triple Pro and Herculex Extra by Dow is the same thing the Pioneer uses. We're just adding that trait for a VT Triple Pro product to develop the Smart Stacks. That's where you're going to get multiple modes of action below ground and above ground. So when you think of Smart Stacks, you're going to think of VT Triple Pro along with Herculex Extra for multiple modes of action above ground and below ground. Okay. That's going to be our focus in the future is the Smart Stacks and the Double Pro. The Smart Stack on your continuous corn acres, your Double Pro on your rotated, and fallen wheat or in your sand areas where rootworm isn't an issue. Does that make sense to everybody? We're trying to keep this, it sounds like a lot, but it's actually a very simple approach. It's going to be a one bag solution with about everything I sell. You dump it in and go, you don't have to worry about any refuge. It all depends if it's 95-5 blend or 90-10 blend. But it will all be in the same bag, no refuge required this year. Okay? You will see underneath all the different varieties out here, which ones are Triple Pro and which ones are Double Pro and which ones are Smart Stacks. The good thing about Double Pro in the past, we've pretty well just offered everything in a Triple Pro product and that's it. This year we finally got the options of leaving out my rootworm trait, which two things is going to do. It's going to give you less refuge required and a cheaper cost too on them rotated acres. So that's kind of probably one of the most exciting things is we actually have more varieties with the traits that you guys asked for. All right, you want to grab yours? So the next thing we're going to talk about is drought guard. So, you know, there's been a lot of buzz in the country with, you've heard of drought products, you hear Aquamax and Artesian. And then we've launched Drought Guard as a testing. Last year we've had 250 plots out, western Kansas, eastern Colorado, western Nebraska, with this Drought Guard technology. We got it approved here about 3 months ago, so any of you that have Drought Guard plant on your farm, we had you sign channeling agreements. Them are all now void. You can haul it to the elevator. It's approved for Chinese export. What Drought Guard is the first genetically modified drought gene in the industry. Okay, so keep that in mind. It is a biotech trait that is inserted in the corn plant. Let's see. And okay, second of all, how does it work? Everybody goes, okay, that's great, but how does it work? So the thing about Drought Guard is this gene, when your corn is suffering from water usage, what usually happens? You know, it goes into that mode, it starts really gulping. You know, it's like, I need more water, I'm starting to gulp everything I have left. So it does two things. It sucks all the water out of the stalk, and it sucks the water out of the ground. So what this Drought Guard trait actually does is it's called two things. It's called hydro efficiency. So they've developed some sap collars they put on with this trait that regulates the amount of sap flow throughout the plant. And this Drought Guard trait limits the amount of flow actually through the plant. So it does that inside the plant, but it also keeps more reserve in the ground. So it's not sucking all that up within the first 2 or 3 days of it starting to stress for drought. So guys, this is not a cactus. It doesn't make a corn plant a cactus. It does need rain, and it does need moisture to grow. But what this trait does is it will give you, an extra 2 to 3 weeks of time for you to get that pivot around to it, or for the rain to come. But we're really seeing very good examples this year, especially farther north, up into Colorado, northwest Kansas, where that corn plant was a little farther behind in maturity than we were here, and we're going to see probably 20 or 30 bushel difference just because the Drought Guard hybrids hung in there a little while longer and didn't use up all that water when that rain first started coming. So guys, down through here, all our dry land stuff, guess what? It's SOL. We're in bad shape, but it does work, and it does give you a few more weeks. See. But the other thing about it is with these Drought Guard hybrids, it meets a couple things. So first of all, what we do is we pick a genetic or a hybrid of corn, or they pick it, and it has to meet our high yield standards. So it's got to be in the 5% of all the launches to even be considered. The next thing it does, it has to be native drought tolerance. So it's got to meet the high yield expectations and also has to be native drought tolerant. That's when, if it meets them two criteria, then we shift it over, then we put the trait in. Then we launch it out into to a Drought Guard product. So these are hybrids that you'll see today that are also released as a non-Drought Guard and the Drought Guard type of products. So 6581, 6642, 115 days here are very good examples. We're going to have a double pro in Drought Guard and just a conventional Smart Stack hybrid offering. What that does is 6581 for example is a 2 on drought. Is a 1 on drought because it has a Drought Guard, and it's without Drought Guard it's a 2, which is one of the best in our schedule. So it does work, and it really show up nicely in areas where there is drought. But what we're asking you guys to do is, it's not for every farmer. Every farmer ain't going to be able to make it work. So there are 3 things we're asking you to do. First of all is agronomic practices. We don't want you to go out and till till up your ground and not preserve any moisture and expect this thing to work. You know, we want to do your common practices, strip till, no till, and maintain as much residue on your soil to give this a chance. And then also use the right trait packages. You know, take care of your traits, take care of your bugs. And then with the germplasm with these hybrids will bring, it's a three-tier approach of making this work. So again, I'll go back to saying, you know, it isn't for everybody and it's not a cactus. So your expectations are very good. What we're seeing last year, and this is from everything from limited water to dry land to full water, it was about 7 to 8 bushel better than the commercial chicks. But keep in mind that was in 30 bushel yield environment, and that was in 150 bushel yield environment. So when you average in 250, we're at about 7 or 8 bushel. The exciting thing for me with this trait is it's actually targeted for western Kansas, eastern Colorado, and western Nebraska. First of all, for the first time ever, I think any companies actually came out with a trait, you know, for us right out here. So there's a couple things that we've been testing on is if we're on limited water, when's the best time to use that water? Is it up front or is it at the end? You know, we are working on several of them different studies. What our studies are showing today is, you know what, we want to stress it more early. A couple reasons, just common sense is I want to build that good root structure beneath it. So when we start stressing it, you know, the roots aren't 2 inches down. But the problem with that out here is, you know, we got to pre-water and get water underneath it, and I realize that. But we are getting into a few things, like I was talking to Mike, I don't know where he went here earlier, and he's running, hitting on the edge of his allocation. So is that something that he can preserve a little bit of water early and keep it late? Absolutely. That's a great place for this. So we are working on more studies on that, and we're going to have more information as the season goes through, because we've only had really 2 years of commercial trials out here. We had a limited amount of seed. I think there was probably about 5,000 acres of drought guard planted in southwest Kansas this last year. So we're going to have a lot of it out, a lot of it test, and we'll really know how it's going to benefit us out here in southwest Kansas. Okay, and before we get out in the country, or get out of the tent here, one thing I want to talk to you guys about is DeKalb has made a pretty good push out here in southwest Kansas. We have right now 2 research departments here in Garden City and a biotech department here in Garden City. They're each putting out around 80 to 100,000 plots a year. I got a call from the guys up in the old Crazy House, which seems like they're top secret. They don't want to tell anybody what they're doing. But they've got twice the amount of funding to do twice the amount of research for next year, so they're beefing things up. They are focusing more attention on us down here, which is a good thing for us, which leads into this DeKalb rating. You know, when everybody thinks of Monsanto, they're thinking of a trait company. You know, we have about 20-some traits, I think, to the market. You know, our next competitor is like 6 or 7. You know, so we're 3 times the amount of traits released. But I want to reiterate that, DeKalb breeding, we're going to get to that performance standard out here in southwest Kansas, and we're going to be the yield leaders. And we'll have that yield advantage. They're shown in the Dakotas, Minnesota, northern Iowa, and in Illinois, that 12 to 15 bushel. I know we're not there today, but I'm very confident we're going to be there in the near future. The amount of stuff we're going through and the amount of research we're putting in. We're putting in about $4 million a day in agriculture research only, which is about $1.5 billion a year. And that's your guys' money that we're using research with, and I appreciate that. And I want you to know that your money spent with us is going back in research for the future. Whether it be, and I will talk about later on, some traits and the outlook for the future within Monsanto. Okay? Strong roots, strong stalks, faster dry down, and then stress and plant disease tolerance is what we're really shooting for today within our DeKalb line. Okay. Anything else? Okay. We're going to jump out and go talk about some drought guard stuff real quick, or some drought guard products, and we'll get you back under the tent here for